Under international law, the short answer is no. A government in exile, GIE, is not strictly required to show full force of military to prove sovereignty, but they do face a very high effectiveness hurdle that military power often helps resolve in practice. The legal reality is a balance between fact, who actually runs the place, and legitimacy, who has the right to run the place. Here is how the laws you mentioned, the UN Charter, the Geneva Conventions, the African Charter, and the Montevideo Convention, apply to this situation. 1. The Montevideo Convention, the Four Pillars. The most widely accepted definition of a state comes from the 1933 Montevideo Convention. It says a country exists when it has 1. A permanent population. 2. A defined territory. 3. A government. 4. The capacity to enter into relations with other states. For a government in exile, the problem is effective control. If a government is in exile, it usually doesn't control the territory or the population. International law generally requires effective government, meaning the ability to enforce laws and keep order. While you don't need a full military force by law, you do need to prove that you can govern. 2. The UN Charter and self-determination. The UN Charter and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights emphasize the right to self-determination. The African Charter, Article 20, explicitly states that colonized or oppressed peoples have the right to free themselves by any means recognized by the international community. This means that if a government in exile represents a people fighting against colonialism or illegal occupation, international law is much more forgiving. They might be recognized as sovereign, even without a large military, based on their moral and legal right to independence. 3. The Geneva Conventions, occupation versus sovereignty. The Geneva Conventions protect the rights of a state, even when it is occupied by an enemy. If a country is invaded, the government can flee, becoming a government in exile, and under the laws of armed conflict, they remain the sovereign power of that land, even if they have zero military force left. The occupier is considered a temporary administrator, not the new owner. Summary table: military force versus sovereignty. Criteria: role of military force, legal requirement. New country, secession. High, usually requires a decisive victory or control to prove the old country can't stop them. Must show effective control over the land. Occupied country. Low, the government in exile remains sovereign even if their army is defeated. Sovereignty is maintained by right of legitimacy. Liberation movements. Medium, military force, guerrilla warfare, is often the evidence of a struggle for independence. Based on self-determination, UN and African Charter. The reality of recognition. In the modern world, sovereignty is often declaratory. This means a country exists because other countries say it exists. Example: if 150 countries recognize a government in exile as the true government, it becomes sovereign in the eyes of the law, even if it has no tanks or planes. Example: if a government has a massive military but no one recognizes it, like the Taliban in their first era or certain breakaway regions, it is a de facto power but lacks de jure legal sovereignty. Would you like me to look into specific historical examples where a government in exile was recognized without having a military? In international law, there is no specific legal requirement that a government in exile, GIE, must possess a, quote, full military force to prove it is a sovereign or effective government. In fact, modern international law, including the UN Charter, the African Charter, and the Montevideo Convention, often moves away from might makes right. Instead, it focuses on legitimacy and recognition. Here is how the law distinguishes between having an army and being a country. 1. The effective control versus legitimacy rule. Under the Montevideo Convention, 1933, a state normally needs an effective government. Usually, this means you can control your borders and enforce laws, which often requires a military. However, for a government in exile, the rules change. Legitimacy, right to rule. If a government was legally in power but was forced out by an illegal invasion or a coup, international law often continues to recognize them as the de jure legal sovereign, even if they have no military at all. The anti-force rule, Article 11 of the Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter state that territory gained by force, military invasion, is not legally recognized. Therefore, the exiled government doesn't need an army to stay legal, it just needs the world to agree that the invader is illegal. 2. The African Charter and self-determination. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights provides a unique perspective. It emphasizes the right of people to free themselves from colonial or foreign domination. A government in exile representing a liberation movement, like the ANC in South Africa during apartheid or SWAPO in Namibia, can be recognized as the legitimate representative of the people based on their political cause, not just their military strength. 3. Comparison of requirements. Requirement. For a new state, secession. For a government in exile, military force. High. Usually must show they can defend the land. Low/none. Sovereignty is based on legal right, not current power. Territory. Must physically control it. Does not need control, occupied by enemy. Recognition. Important for survival, critical. They exist primarily because other states say they do. 4. Why military force is still mentioned. While not a legal requirement for sovereignty, a military is often a practical requirement for effective government. De facto versus de jure. If you have an army and control the land, you are a de facto government. Government, in fact. The goal. Most governments in exile eventually build a military, or partner with one, because their goal is to return home. International law, like the Geneva Conventions, allows an exiled government to command troops and resist an occupier without losing their legal status. Summary. You do not need to show full force of military to be sovereign under international law if your claim is based on a legal right, like being invaded, or the right to self-determination. Sovereignty in the modern world is more about diplomatic recognition and international law than it is about the size of an army. Would you like to see examples of historical governments that were recognized as sovereign while they had no territory or military?
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Depends on your time and your location that you may watch this program later or as you join me to watch this program. So on this junction, I welcome you. I am from the new country that was declared the old country that lost through war, the genocidal war through Nigeria. So I am from that old country called Republic of Biafra, that this time around in this 21st century, that the population of the Biafran people has stand up, that we only lost war and lose our territory, that we have to come back, take what belongs to us. And we have come back from agitation of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to Simon Ekpa Liberation Movement. Then we agreed unanimously, democratically agreed that November 2024, November 29, 2024, we, the Biafran people, when we send our delegates, our congressmen, they went to Finland, November 29, 2024, make official declaration of Biafra. Then, in the modern new day of Biafra, we adopted a name that was being voted for, that immediately after we use organization that was registered Bridge Biafra Government in Exile, that after our declaration, that automatically that we are going to be answering the name that we are declared, which is United State of Biafra. So on November the 29, 2024, the people of Biafra stood up officially, I repeat, make a declaration of this country that lost his territory, that the population that lost this war are still living with the inborn of the blood of this lost country. And we said that we have man enough and we are okay to go back to claim our territorial integrity that's being lost in the hands of one Nigeria that means a death sentence to every indigenous person. So we have made our official declaration to prove that this old country did not die forever and ever. Rather, we have resurrected this new country back by our official recognition that happened November 29, 2024 in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, as a government in exile. After our declaration, the government of the United States of Biafra swept into action. Their action leads to for them to leave armed struggle, to adopted Geneva Convention, adopted charters and the new laws of protocol, adopted protocol. They also use Montevideo Convention laws. They also use UN Charter adopted, and they also use African charters to make sure that we achieved our country in a peaceful way, that none of us will be arrested or called rebel or called a mere political movement that has no end of what they are doing. We did that to claim that we are sovereignty that lack international recognition. That is why we are here to let the world know, and also our people to understand the new method of having a new country, that it does not require military, armed struggle, and what's none anymore. That these days, that there is a way to achieve a new country, not by military, not by war anymore, rather by peaceful movement, that you can achieve this new country. So we also here this evening to educate our people, for them to understand that after declaration of a new country, that you did not need that having military controlling your land is not an evidence of sovereignty, but there is way you can achieve this new country without armed struggle. The world will call it peaceful exit of new country that's make declaration. That's why our own is an old country that we just make the declaration. Like when you have an old house, you paint it to become new in the eyes of foreigners and those who don't know about the building. That is exactly what we did. And as we, as the Biafran people, as we continue to push ahead because of how things it is and all is happening in what we are doing, that we will stand up on our movement, that we will never surrender anymore. So today, we are here to check or to hear from the world if using military is only way to claim sovereignty, or if there is any other way this sovereignty is being proved in a well-detailed manners, that nobody or anyone can arrest you because of you are fighting for the sovereignty. That is the things we are here to let ourselves know. For those who think that sovereignty, you must use military to fight, to destroy everything, and that is when they will say, yes, you are doing something, you claim sovereignty, and you are sovereignty really. That is why we are here. Wonderful this evening to look into things, how other countries achieved their own words, their own country, and see how we can do everything humanly possible to achieve our own country at this 21st century. That is why we are here this evening to prove to the world that Biafra has been re-declared and that we have met every criteria as a human being, as a permanent population that deserve to have their own country. That is why we are here wonderful this evening to rub our mind together and also to educate ourselves on things about this our country that we have re-declared on November the 29th, 2024. That is why we're here this evening. So as you join us, please endeavor to like and share the program. Once you like another person, we know we are live. Once we share, you bring more people to come in. So let our people share for people to gather in here for us to find out the truth. And that is how we run it in this platform. We do things that do proper exposition of the level where we are right now, how we as the Biafran people, how we have our right to control our land, our borders, to prove to the world that we are a sovereignty. That is why we are here this wonderful evening. So as you join me, I urge you to like and share the program, please. Or anytime you may watch this program, the importance of it is that you share the program. That you do what? You share the program. That is how you prove to the world that you understand the importance of our declaration and what it means for us to achieve our goal. So please, I urge you this evening, as you join me, to like, share without wasting time. Yes. Or when you watch later in your own time, first need to do is to do what? Like and share. For you to bring more people to come in here and join us as we are here into the proper movement of our old, we are declared country. You see, what we think about having a new country is different from the world are thinking. No matter how you may see it, their own way, their narrative, and all they are planning and the guide laws that guides a new country is different from what we are thinking. And maybe that is maybe the reason why the movement is being delayed for so long. Because we have the important things and be dwelling at things that does not matter, things that will not give us Biafra, is things that we focus our energy, our strength to do. But that's one that will give us this Biafra. We pay less attention because we like to prove, I said this time, I'm in charge, I talk more than another person, I want to be in control. All these things becomes a problem into the movement that we are into. That is why that's when I said that we leave the most important areas and be moving to things that are not really matter. It is a high time that we educate ourselves and we are prepared. We will prepare ourselves to make sure that this movement that we have into right now, that focus on the channel of what will yield results to the international global community, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. That is the most important part of it. And that is why we are here, to bring those things out. So the only help you can do to me is by what? By liking and sharing the program, please. So others may come across this page and listen to the reality, both Fallback, Bridgie, both CRC, both Faces Unite, both Adendo, even though that we know that when they had this truth, they will deviate from it because they did not meant well. They only want to do it and prove to you that they are the one in charge and that they are the one that have higher sense in this movement. That is why you have to share this program and like it to be going viral. Also, let the world understand that we understand how we can and what we do to achieve our new declared country. What we do to achieve it. That we are no longer into armed struggle. We are no longer into woto, but rather we are into peaceful movement of a new country that are seeking for recognition, proving being ready of being governed and bring peace to the world. We have started making this peace to the world by dropping any violence. That is why in the movement of the USB this time, there is no more armed struggle. And also she maintained the words of Simon that after our declaration, that nobody will shoot one bullet, one pipe anymore again, that one is over. And that is what our DPM maintained today, simply proving that she is following the criteria and the template of who? By our DPM, by our PM, Simon Ekpa Njoko. These are the truths that we all must know. These truths are not bitter. These truths are very bitter, but refusing to understand it becomes a problem to you, because the truth must always come at last, like Hadaino comes at last. So for you to avoid Hadaino, that is the reason why I'm here to to put it direct to you, so you may not enter Hadaino that will comes at last. That is why this platform is here, to bring you message that's deeply will change your mindset, will change your narrative about United States of Biafra movement and what they are doing for us to go home, for you to continue to support your government. The government that we are into is not a government of woto, but a government of diplomatic, political, legal, and what pressure to the every authority in the world. These are things I want you to know. And all of the things that the government is doing are being documented, are being registered. They are not just doing something, but rather they are doing things with evidence to prove to you that you have very effective government, that you are in control. Whenever you think of all this that is happening right now, and whenever you listen to all this, there's things that you need to understand, that in this movement that we are into, that the game has changed. The game of the world for Biafra to get recognition has changed. What changes? In all their laws, in all the laws of the international law, both African law, military knocking woto is no longer needed. They said no to that. In all these laws, all of them have protocol. They adhere for the nearest future to come. So today, in that nearest future to come is where we are right now. That is why I'm telling you that it is very imperative for you to understand that there is nothing like woto anymore. In this Biafra conquest, in this Biafra movement, I want you to know that in international laws in Africa, even the African Charter Council in this modern century using armed struggle, war to achieve your country. That is why, when we are here, we want to bring you facts and figures for you to, no matter how corrupt the world are, their laws still remain. So, it is very imperative to you to understand where we are and why you at this stage must come fully to support your government because of what is being written down. When they said that the movement of a new country for recognition must be first on the paper. What are those papers? The document of our declaration and the proving to the world that we are not a violence group or rebel group anymore. After declaration, once you drop arm struggle to use 4 things to achieve recognition, that simply means that nobody can destroy you, nobody can address you as rebel or a criminal or a terrorist. No. That is why you must understand the importance of our declaration, that no one can stop it, because it is a legal process to prove to the world how prepared you are to govern yourself, as we are waiting for international recognition to come. You must be a sovereignty first before other sovereignty nations want to recognize you. You cannot make declaration and remain to answer the name of organization you registered before that declaration, and you think that the world will recognize you. You are just deceiving yourself. The high time you tell yourself the truth is the high time everything begins to change in your life. The best teacher is what you teach yourself. That is the best teacher so far. I said what? That is the best teacher. I see you, my brother Richard. I see you, John. I see you, Iwu Biafra. Good evening from here. I greet you. You're welcome to this hallowed platform. Please, as you join me, please, may you like and share the program. If you never subscribe on our page, because there is more to learn from this page and there is more to gain from this page. This page, as we are seeing, is a page of Biafran people where we stand and preach the truth. Do you understand? This is where we stand and preach the truth, because we want the world to know the truth that we are preaching. And we cannot call the world and start lying to them, or even pretending as we don't know what we are saying and what we are doing. There is things that even in your family, there is a law that guides your family. And on that law, you will stand and get married. So we are going to stand on all the existing protocol of the world to achieve our own country. That is it is I want you to go. Our headline this evening said, under all international law, African law, Exile government did have any military fool proving sovereignty and effective government. Does military prove that you are sovereignty? For those who are telling you, oh, you declare Biafra, you did not control your land 100%, you did not control, and you are... No, in this 21st century. That is why it is very imperative that we adhere to the appropriate right channel for us to achieve what we are looking for. So, I want us to start from here. Under international law like UN Charter, Geneva Convention, African Charter, Montevideo Convention, must you use military to control all the territory after declaration for you to prove a sovereignty? Let us see how they tell us, and some example that we're going to hear that may help us. That's why this is I will tell you to please open your ear to listen. Like and bring more people to come, please. Here is quite different from whatever you can see anywhere again. Thank you as we move. Because it is very imperative that we all understand the movement and what the world are looking for. Not what we are looking. Not how we want it. Is how them, because they are the one that is going to give you that recognition. Listen.
Under international law, the short answer is no. A government in exile, GIE, is not strictly required to show full force of military to prove sovereignty, but they do face a very high effectiveness hurdle that military power often helps resolve in practice. The legal reality is a balance between fact, who actually runs the place, and legitimacy, who has the right to run the place. Here is how the laws you mentioned, the UN Charter, the Geneva Conventions, the African Charter, and the Montevideo Convention, apply to this situation. 1. The Montevideo Convention, the Four Pillars. The most widely accepted definition of a state comes from the 1933 Montevideo Convention. It says a country exists when it has 1. A permanent population. 2. A defined territory. 3. A government. 4. The capacity to enter into relations with other states. For a government in exile, the problem is effective control. If a government is in exile, it usually doesn't control the territory or the population. International law generally requires effective government, meaning the ability to enforce laws and keep order. While you don't need a full military force by law, you do need to prove that you can govern. 2. The UN Charter and Self-Determination. The UN Charter and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights emphasize the right to self-determination. The African Charter, Article 20, explicitly states that colonized or oppressed peoples have the right to free themselves by any means recognized by the international community. This means that if a government in exile represents a people fighting against colonialism or illegal occupation, international law is much more forgiving. They might be recognized as sovereign, even without a large military, based on their moral and legal right to independence. 3. The Geneva Conventions, Occupation versus Sovereignty. The Geneva Conventions protect the rights of a state, even when it is occupied by an enemy. If a country is invaded, the government can flee, becoming a government in exile, and under the laws of armed conflict, they remain the sovereign power of that land, even if they have zero military force left. The occupier is considered a temporary administrator, not the new owner. Summary table: military force versus sovereignty. Criteria: role of military force, legal requirement. New country, secession. High, usually requires a decisive victory or control to prove the old country can't stop them. Must show effective control over the land. Occupied country. Low, the government in exile remains sovereign even if their army is defeated. Sovereignty is maintained by right of legitimacy. Liberation movements. Medium, military force, guerrilla warfare, is often the evidence of a struggle for independence. Based on self-determination, UN and African Charter. The reality of recognition. In the modern world, sovereignty is often declaratory. This means a country exists because other countries say it exists. Example: if 150 countries recognize a government in exile as the true government, it becomes sovereign in the eyes of the law, even if it has no tanks or planes. Example: if a government has a massive military but no one recognizes it, like the Taliban in their first era or certain breakaway regions, it is a de facto power but lacks de jure legal sovereignty. Would you like me to look into specific historical examples where a government in exile was recognized without having a military?
Are you listening? For those who are waiting for Woto, and they can wonder in this modern 21st century that the government of the world does no longer value armed struggle, armed liberation. No, they did not value it. And for you who will come and say you claim sovereignty, but you did not control. They told you here you don't need to control because your territory is under occupied by oppressor and those who occupied the land before. You are asking for that recognition. So that the amount of recognition does not need the full military force. Even if the government in exile controls 0% of military, that they are a sovereign state. So far, they are giving order in the homeland and from where they are. And that order is effective, that they are sovereignty. When you say something, can you talk where that has happened? Like when I say that you don't need it, I can prove example or evidence, a country with a video where such a thing has happened in the past. That is why when I say drop your envy, your jealousness, and your anger to face reality, to face bitter truth, and stop wasting your time and your money. Because those that are working for you are doing it very awesome. They are doing it very good for us to achieve our international recognition as it may. That is why I'm here to let you know those things. There is 4 or 5 laws that controls every country in the world, whether like it or not. Whether new or old, you have Montevideo Convention 1933. You have Geneva Convention 1947-48. You have Vienna Convention 1978. You have African Charter. You have UN Charter. All this I count for you is guideline to you to achieve your country peacefully. They all have this adopted protocol. They all have it. They all have what? The adopted protocol. And one rub the hands of the other. One wash the left hand. The other one, the left hand washes the right one. This is how they are rubbing themselves together. They all centered in that Montevideo Convention, proving how you become a sovereignty. And in this 21st century era, you do not need any more military to become a sovereignty. They said that a permanent population of human being becomes automatically sovereignty once there is a permanent population. Once you have what? A permanent population, you automatically becomes a sovereign state. Once you have identified territory, like the 40th state of the United States of Biafra, the original, the authentic government by the Congo Arabese, the government of the USB. Once you have that, once there is government that's effective to give orders, you become automatically what? Sovereignty. So after our declaration of United States of Biafra, once you make it, say, look at it here, sovereignty is often declaration. Once you have made declaration of a country, you automatically become a sovereignty of your own that lacks international recognition. Like when you give a new bouncing baby girl or baby boy a name without him walking, he becomes a human being. That they start counting him in the number of the family members. They start counting this new baby as one of the member of the family without even walking, without just only lying down and take little food, without knowing anybody. The little what? The little baby becomes a member. If you count human beings that are living, that's made up of that family, he is among them. Can you throw him away because of he's not working? He's not going errand for, he's not going an errand for you, he's doing nothing for you. You are the one to back him, you are the one that bet him or her, you are the one that do everything for. When it's come to number of human beings, you counted him, he or her, this little child, as a human being. Once you make your official declaration, you have become automatically a sovereignty. Because you must call yourself your name before people will call you that name. You are the one to tell people, my name is this, my name is that, my name is Biafra TV. Then people will start using it to call you. No, it's not the word or people will come and give you name. No. Once your parents give you name, even at a time, sometimes we will grow, decide to change them, our parents give to us. Sometimes we grow and we decided to change the name that our parents give to us and tell people, this is the name I want to be answering. And people will be calling you by that name. You will first notify people that I am a human being and they will see you as a human being. That is why after our declaration, automatically we become a sovereignty that lacks international recognition. What people of Somaliland waited for 34 years before they get recognition from Israel, and today they have become a fully international global sovereignty. When a new child is being born, the members of the family know that a new child has born. Is it not true? Then when this child start walking out from the family, going outside, like going to school, the first people who knows is people in that community knows the named child. The name they give the child, the new child has been give that this is the name of this new child. That's what I'm saying. Once he step into primary, into pre-nursery, the school we know that a new student has arrived, being a new baby. And that school we ask this baby, what is your name? And he will introduce his name. Is it the word? Is it the school introduce the name of this new baby? The answer is no. The new baby or the parents who registered this baby in school will let the students, the class student and the teacher to know this is the name, and everybody will stand on that name in the school, start giving that baby, calling that baby that particular name. This is how it is. This is how a new country is. After your declaration, you become a sovereignty. You don't need military before the world will call you a sovereignty. You don't need military before we recognize you. That era has gone and gone forever. The era we are is era where you use peaceful movement to achieve your new country. That is exact era we are at this moment. So when we said, do not mind those who are dishing out lies and propaganda, do not mind them. Because no matter what they say, no matter what they do, the international global community knows that when a new country is being declared, that the saboteurs rebel will come out. America have rebel. Finland has rebel. India has rebel. Bangladesh has rebel. Israel have rebel. In Africa, Namibia, South Africa, Congo, all these countries today, once they make their declaration of that they are a new sovereign state, people of their own state will deny them, turn automatically against them. That is what we are passing through today. So we are not the first, neither are we going to be the last. And we are not the first to make a declaration of a lost country through war. That is things that we all must observe, and that's things that we must understand at this moment that we are into. Like I told you, we will play it out for you. We will be playing it out for you. Let us play from additional protocol of UN Charter, Geneva Convention, Montevideo Convention, African Charter, UN Charter, Vienna Convention. All these are the guidelines of law where you go and pick up how a new country is being ruled. Listen to this.
In international law, there is no specific requirement in the UN Charter or the additional protocols of the Geneva Convention that a government in exile must use military force all over the territory to prove its effectiveness before gaining international recognition.
Do you listen to it carefully? Are you following? Please, if you are just joining me, please like and share the program, please. If you're first time coming, look at on your right hand, the one pointing my hand on your phone. You will see on top of there is a 3 dots on your phone. Touch on that 3 dot once it will open. You will see like and share. Immediately you like and share, the share will take you to the page, then you will subscribe. How do you subscribe? You will see subscribe. Then once you touch that subscribe one hand, it will open. You will see a bell, personal bell. Click on that. Whenever we are live, you will get automatic notification without sharing the program to you. Then from that moment, you start sharing to those who are on your contacts, even on your Facebook. It is very important if you may do so. I urge you to do so, please, because that is how you make the message to go viral. That is how you help this message to go So you reach to for the people of Biafra to understand what we are into. In international law, there is no specific requirement in the UN Charter or the Additional Protocol of Geneva Convention that government in exile must use military force all over the territory to prove its effectiveness before gaining international recognition. Somebody wrote on my comment section that Somaliland was recognized by Israel because they had military. It's a pure lie. You can hear it here. No country in this world, it was being recognized because of they have military. No, it's not why. Listen.
In fact, international law and modern state practice often favor peaceful self-determination and political legitimacy over raw military conquest.
Are you listening? In fact, international law and the modern state practice offer favor peacefully self-determination and the political legitimacy over running military what? Consent. They did not value it anymore. They are telling us here that now that we have declared, now take it to the words that come from our Prime Simon Ebanjoko. He also said that after declaration, there are anybody who is expecting us to shoot one paw, that person will not see it. And you are waiting for Woto. That is not the way in this modern, they said it here, in this modern 21st century of having a new state, a new country, that they prefer peaceful self-determination movement and the political legitimacy overall instead of military liberation. No, that they do not want it anymore in this new century. Let's continue.
1. The legal framework, statehood versus recognition. To understand this, we have to distinguish between the criteria for statehood and the act of recognition. Montevideo Convention, 1933. This is the standard for what makes a state. It requires 1. A permanent population, 2. A defined territory, 3. A government, and 4. The capacity to enter into relations with other states.
I hope you are listening. I hope you are listening carefully. The legal framework, stakehold versus recognition. Stakehold being a sovereignty versus recognition. To understand this, we have to distinguish between the criteria for stakehold to become a sovereignty or a country and the act of recognition. Montevideo Convention, 1933. This is the standard for what makes a state. It requires, number 1, what's first thing, not military. Listen to number 1. A permanent population. 2, divine territory, the 40th state of the United States of Biafra government. What again? The capacity to enter into relations with other states. You must be a state before you can talk to other states. Sometimes I say is it not true? So it is very imperative that we all understand it. The requirement of being a sovereignty in this 21st century, in all the adopted protocol of the UN Charter, Montevideo Convention, Vienna Convention, Geneva Convention, even Africa's own, they did not require anything military anymore. They did not require what you are seeking for. They require diplomatic, legal, political, and what? Political pressure. They will need paper, is what they need. Because when you refuse to go that way, this way they want, they will see you as a terrorist. They will see you as a rebel. They will see you as a violent human being. They did not need violence anymore. The word said, if you are seeking for a new country, please go peacefully. You will achieve it. And that is why, in the history of those who went to peacefully, a country like Namibia, after their declaration, what happened? Because of the stop military movement over 8 months before they go into their declaration. That is why only 1 month after their declaration, they now achieve international recognition. They call it UN Child. Is what they call them. Because of what? They, in earlier stage, drop everywhere was very calm and peacefully. Because of the drop this armed struggle, does it mean that they're no longer a country today? I don't know, a country. Namibia is a country today. That is why we are telling you to understand, we will not achieve this Biafra without all these histories have been made already and the template to follow. Please, if you join me, like and share, put your comment down. It's very important for me. Whenever you drop your comment, it helps my mind. And also from your comment, I do more findings and research on what you see I do here every day. So that is why I ask you, please, as you join us, please like and share the program. Please put your comments down. I don't know if they have put the page has been hijacked or there is words. If there is something like attack on the page, because I can't see any comment anymore. But let me pause what I'm doing to check the other side. If there is something like that, then I will find out by myself. This wonderful evening, I will find out by myself. And you also want you to know that you cannot declare a new country without having rebels everywhere. Are you following? You cannot have this country without having enemies all around. You can't, and it has never happened anywhere in the world before. Those who have their own in the past have enemy all around them. But the question is, did this enemy stop these people to have their country? The answer now remains no. When the world are pushing you, telling you what they want you to do and how they want you to stand, the only thing that we have to do is to start on that mandate of the world for us to achieve the movement of Biafra as a country very quickly. That's when I said, some people misunderstand when I said that we will not get this Biafra with our own reasoning and the way we think. Our DPM, if you watch her, she is into everything, reading all these laws and chapters to make that she's on the point. And look at her today. She is on the right point because of the way she has carried the movement and tried to understand what needs to be done for a new country to be achieved. And she is doing all this at this stage that we are into. That is why it is very imperative that you may come to support your own. Stop standing on the fence. Stop deceiving yourself. Join and face reality, because the reality is in front of you, waiting for you to just join me as people of a new country and do what? Donate and do what? Support the government. Through that means you are helping the government to go home. Do you understand? I said, you are helping our government to do what? To go home. Now that we are hearing it here, that in this 21st century, they said that they did not need anything like armed struggle anymore for you to become a sovereignty. Rather, that they prefer what? They prefer you going through normal process, all the protocol, observe all the laws, then through that way, you will automatically become what? A new country. Is it not far better than you coming to use armed struggle to destroy the atmosphere and claiming that you are fighting for seeking for a new country, while that they have give you a timeline of how you can achieve this new country. Are you listening? Because it is very important for you to know the truth, and this truth is what will set us free into this movement that we are into. There is no any other way except this way that we are doing it today, by bringing out and dishing out the truth, even though whatever it may take us. It's good that you all know that it's no longer the way. It's no longer business as usual. Now, what are those things? I have mentioned it here that makes you a sovereignty, not military.
Effective control. Traditionally, a government had to exercise effective control, police power, tax collection, law enforcement, to be recognized. However, for a newly independent country, or a government in exile, this rule is often relaxed. 2. The role of the UN Charter and Geneva Protocols. UN Charter. The Charter focuses on self-determination, Articles 1 and 55, and the prohibition of the use of force, Article 2.
Are you hearing it? Are you hearing this? Sorry, are you hearing this? The rule of the UN Charter and Geneva Convention Protocol. UN Charter. The Charter focus on self-determination, Article 1 and 55, and the prohibition of the use of force in this 21st century of protocol observed, Article 2 in bracket 4 of the UN Charter. It does not require military for a state to win a war to become recognized. Instead, it encouraged the peaceful settlement of the dispute, like what we are doing today, like what government in exile of Biafra, is doing today. Like what we are doing today is what people of Poland did in their own time. What we are doing today is what people of Netherlands we are talking about far. What of in Africa here? There is over 16 or 15 in Africa that they pass through this way, having government in exile. Government exile have a full control. Immediately he seek for recognition and get recognition, then he become and you take fully charged of his territory. Despite that, the occupier will be there to press them down.
4. It does not require a nascent state to win a war to be recognized. Instead, it encourages the peaceful settlement of disputes. Geneva Convention, Additional Protocols, 1977, Asterix Protocol, deals with international armed conflicts and specifically mentions peoples fighting against colonial domination and alien occupation in the exercise of their right of self-determination.
Do you hear this word? Alien occupy. Alien what? Occupy nation like Nigeria government. Hey, Ijele one grieving from me, I can see you. Thank you so much. Yes, Oluchukwu, I can see you. Chinwendo Nwikuku, I can see you. Thank you so much. Good evening, all the well-read Biafran people. Thank you so much. Yes, Ijele one, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. You can see that our app is fully back again. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much, Ijele one. I can't stop thanking you. And that's why I talked to Biafrans that you also follow to make this app to continue working. When enemy think that they can destroy it. Thank you so much. Honestly, I don't know how to thank you. Because in America, honestly, thank you. Thank you. That pocket will never run dry. And all you do to achieve all you use to support this movement, it shall return blessing. It must be a blessing to you. It must be a full blessing. You will never cry for anything. You will never lack. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name I pray. He said, yes, we move. Thank you so much. You know, when we are sitting on this, because this is what is confusing our people. This issue of sovereignty, we are going to hit it by paragraph every time we go into it for you to understand it. Like I said, what I'm doing is not in the hide, like one of Obies said, that the template to achieve Biafra is not in the secret. What I do is not in the secret. Anthony, good evening from here. Okoro White, good evening from here. Things has changed woefully. Things is changing. Why do I think it's changing? If up to today you have iPhone 17 Pro Max or iPhone 17, what is going on? Why did the world did not see the man on iPhone 2, iPhone 1? Where they come from 1 to 17? And what we are, in every year there will be a new music that will come out, a new music. When that new music comes out, what do? You learn how to move leg to dance that new music. In the movement of achieve a new country in this time around, there is what? Geneva Convention Protocol. There is Montevideo Convention Protocol. All this protocol was there until they end the era of colonial masters, of the slavery masters. As it ends in these 21st century eras, they have said that everything is under the what? The additional protocol. Do you know that this additional protocol of the UN, of Geneva Convention, was being amended 1977, but they keep it low because they are waiting for 21st century. And ask yourself, why is that whenever you type about all these things, this protocol will just prompt up? Because they have put it in front of every other thing. In the Bible you are reading, why many focus on the New Testament? If I may ask you, why do the people today focus on the New Testament and leave Old Testament? Because anybody has to quote Bible now, they always rush to quote the New Testament. That is also the same way the law has changed. And when the New Testament comes in, you are adopted from the old one to the New Testament. Check all the pastors today. Everything they preach is about New Testament. So when it comes to this Biafra, you don't want to preach about these protocols that give us a very soft hand. That with this protocol, nobody will call you terrorist. Nobody will call you a rebel. They can only call you secession under remedial secession. On international law, they will call you remedial secession, proving external movement of people that want to exit from the old country to have their own country, which is their inalienable right. Which is what? Their inalienable right. And the word said, we prepare paper movement than armed struggle. That they are no longer in that era of slavery, conquer. No, that game has. That's why I'm saying all this. For you to change you into your brain and join and dance this music. Mgbe chenjiri ego na ego for new currency has come out. Gbakwa mbọ ka inweta ya na ọ bụrụ na iji ego for wee jiri police ga-ejidekwa gị n'ụzọ. The same thing kind of work right now. Now the movement of having a new country has changed. It must be peaceful this time around with the paper document. That is why it's important for you to know. It's not all about boom, 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 boom. The time has changed. Let's continue.
Protocol 2 applies to non-international armed conflicts, civil wars. Neither protocol sets military control as a prerequisite for legal recognition as a state. They focus on how to treat people humanely during the conflict, regardless of who is winning. 3. Can an exile government be recognized without military control? Yes. International recognition is a political act by other states. There are two main ways this happens.
Are you listening carefully? Number 3, can exile government be recognized without military control? Can exile government be recognized without military control? So, yes, international recognition is a political act by other states. There are two main ways this will happen. It has two ways it will happen. But the question is, in the world before and now, this having a new country recognition without showcasing military, armor tanker, blowing auto everywhere, has this happened in the past? The answer is yes. In this present era, does it happen? In this 21st century, does it happen? The answer is yes. Ask of people of Belarus that got their independence from Russia. Ask of them. Then you may understand. In the old, ask of Poland, ask of Netherlands, even France, in their own time. When it's come to Africa, ask about Namibia, ask about Algeria. These are countries that achieve it without military, showcasing military. Somebody said in my comment section that Somaliland got independent, got the recognition from Israel because of military. Pure lie. This is what we are lacking in our life. We don't like to hear history. We don't like to listen to the history. We only want to talk what we don't even know and claim we know it all. We only decided that this is how it is. When it's come to the international law, it's not how it is. And this is once the world notice that we are no good to read and research to bring to our notice of people, they hide every secret down and they be giving us what is killing us, what is destroying us either. That is why it's imperative now that we have declared Biafra. Now that we have declared Biafra, that we must know the truth and the histories of the world, that what they are passing through today, what we are passing through today, that people has passed through that in the past. Are you following? So let's see these two means of having it.
Type of recognition. Description. Declaratory theory.
Do you hear that word? This declaration is more important. Listen.
Recognition just declares what is already true. If you have the territory and people, you are a state regardless of what others say.
Are you hearing it? Recognition just declaration what is already true. If you have the territory and the people, you are a state regardless of what others are saying. Capture this word. Regardless of what people are saying, Even those in my comment section talking about landlock, what am I discussing about landlock this evening? Landlock. Even that is my comment, that is my headline today. They say, regardless of what anybody is saying, regardless of what others are saying, you are a sovereignty, you are a country, you are a state.
Constitutive theory. You only become a state when other countries agree to treat you as one.
Yes, when it comes to this official recognition, if other countries decide to treat you, then you become a foreign state. If they refuse, you remain on your own and you answer your country by yourself. If in a family, that family born one child, and that child is not living, because of the born, is he going to deny his identity? The answer is no. He will stand only himself and do what? Prove identity. Let us continue.
Important exceptions. Legitimacy over force. In modern times, if a government is seen as the legitimate representative of a people, e.g., following a democratic election or a recognized independence movement, other countries may recognize it even if it has zero military control on the ground. Example,
Do you hear that?
during World War II, many governments in exile, like Poland or France, were recognized by the Allies, despite their entire territory being occupied by the Axis powers.
Are you hearing it? This France we are seeing today, Poland you are seeing today. Imagine, take the one of France. Example, during World War II, many governments in exile, like Poland or France, do you know that France used exile governments to achieve France as a country? A whole France. Where recognition by the Allies, despite the entire territory being occupied by the power of those that occupied the land at that time. Despite that, look at it here. Despite the entire territory, all the territory of France was occupied by Britain. Those that's in the era of colonial master that occupied France territory. What happened? It's told you here that despite that their land was being fully occupied by oppressors, that they are a sovereign state. In time of France fighting to have a country called France today, France imagine being in exile, and that their entire territory was what was occupied by oppressors, by colonial masters in their own time. Example, during the Second World War, many governments in exile, like Poland or France, were recognized by an allies, despite the entire territory being occupied by the power of oppressions. The effective government, listen.
4. The ineffective government myth. You asked if they must prove the existing government is ineffective by using military force. Actually, using military force can sometimes hinder recognition if it is seen as an illegal aggression, or if it causes humanitarian catastrophes.
Are you hearing it? You ask if must prove the existing government is effective by using military force. Actually, using military force can sometimes hinder recognition if it sees as an illegal aggression or if it causes humanitarian catastrophe. Now that Nigeria, with every checking point, with the military, occupies our territory, and when we go out there and believe that let's go and counter them, the world will see us as violent people. So, look at everything that is going on today in the movement. Nigeria, the fake Nigeria, a country of terrorists, a country that the world, that America has put on a country of particular concern, a country of CPC, a country that they have passport and they don't have passport to enter into America, and the many countries are coming more to ban Nigeria because of what they've been known for. The world are watching Biafra right now after our declaration, if we are going to confront those military bases. In my own state, since I was born, in my own local government, there is 5 checking points by military. They are still there till today. In old Eastern region, that is only where you see checking point of the road, both the one from Air Force. That is where you see what? Checking point. In only Onitsha. Onitsha have 105 checking points. Only Onitsha alone have 105 maximum. In old Anambra, I am not talking the villages, I am talking around what surrenders Onitsha to exit Asaba. 105, both police, both road safety, both Air Force, who is on ground instead of being on air. Total of them is 105. Then in my own local government area from Old Anambra, I have, since I was born, I witnessed 5 on the express. I mean, 5 is on the express. Not those that are sometimes they will use healers and block and collect money and move away. No, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking of the one that have checking point on the express. From Onitsha to Ekulobia, from Opi to Ekulobia having checking point. From Opi Weka down to Ekulobia, how many? Moreover, season time. We want to prove to you that it's no longer the time, the era, where we go and confront them. No. We do the confrontation by what? Diplomatic, legal, political movement, and pressure. Is only the way out this time around, so that we will not cause what? Catastrophe, or we will not cause civil unrest, and we will not put more life in danger. That is why this year our people travel, celebrate Christmas, because of the government of the USB adopted what? This protocol of additional protocol of the UN Charter, Article 2, in bracket 4. No more armed movement, but defend. When the government come into our rural areas to do something, then we will show them that we have military. They call it that one what? Self-defense. That is the things. This Christmas alone proving that there is a government, and also prove the words of Mad Simon Ebanjoko that after our declaration that nobody to shoot Pam anymore, because he told us that without this re-declaration document, that we are just making noise until we make this re-declaration, the document becomes the power that will stop all that's going on in our area. Please, as you join us, please like and share the program. We don't have time to reply some out of 25. I begin to reply one person. No, I have passed that level, because this comment section will prove Judas among us here. So, why am I doing this? I want to clarify your doubt and your mind. If you are doubting me what I'm doing here, you have phone in your hand, or you might have two phones, because it's easy to have two Android phones this time around. Pick up your phone. Let me tell you what you will type. Just manage the one in the Google, because no matter how they will give you the truth, just type. In additional protocol of the UN Charter and the additional protocol of the Geneva Convention, after declaration, after re-declaration of a country, do they have to focus on military liberation for them to get recognition? Just type it on your phone and find an answer by yourself. You should type that on your phone first, because the program I'm doing is what I'm doing, and I choose what I do. I don't choose what somebody tell me. So we continue.
Instead of military proof, the international community usually looks for 1. Broad domestic support, the people want this government. 2. Stability, the new country won't immediately collapse into chaos. 3. Willingness to follow international law, respecting treaties and human rights. Summary. An exile government does not need to prove its power through military conquest. While effective control makes statehood easier to claim, international recognition is ultimately a diplomatic decision based on legitimacy, human rights, and the principle of self-determination. Would you like me to look up specific historical examples where a government in exile was recognized without having military control of its territory?
Are you hearing it? Bishop, you're welcome. Thank you so much. An exile government does not need to prove its power through military government. Why effective control makes a statehood easy to claim. International law, international recognition is ultimately diplomatic discussion based on the legitimacy, human rights, and the principle of self-determination. Are you listening? Remember what we are doing this evening. For those who want us to use military to get Biafra as a country, that in this modern 21st century is no longer in existence. They said that it is prohibited. That does not mean that you will not have your military. No, doesn't mean. But showcasing them on the street, carrying arms, gives them the statute. Whoa. That era has been banished. That's what? That era has been banished. Once you make this official declaration, you become a sovereign state. That declaration is act of what? Claiming a sovereign state. That the only thing that you are lacking is what? Other countries to recognize you as a country. They even go more by giving us example of a whole Poland and France. That when France was fighting under colonial regime masters, that their land was fully be occupied, that they did not control 1% of their territory before they get recognition. Once they make that declaration as a country, once they call themselves, our name is France, France is a country, that they do not control 1% of their territory, even Poland, but they get recognition when it is due time. That is why when I said, even America, when America was fighting against Great Britain to have their own declaration, after they have made their declaration, their people turn against them. And the people did not understand that the freedom lies in declaration of a new country. Freedom is what? The declaration of the country is what? Is a freedom. Example, when a woman carries a baby in her stomach, the woman needs freedom. The new baby needs freedom. Once the woman delivers the baby has freedom, the woman has freedom. That child deliverance is what? Declaration that a new child has freedom, and the mother has her own freedom. Let's continue. Now, listen again.
Historical practice shows that recognition is often based on political legitimacy and the principle of self-determination rather than military control. Many governments have been recognized while having little to no boots on the ground. Here are several key examples that illustrate this. 1. World War II. The London governments, 1940 to 1945. During World War II, the governments of Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium and Poland fled to London after being completely overrun by Nazi Germany. Military status, they had zero control over their home territories. Recognition, despite this, they remained the de jure, legal, recognized governments by the United States, United Kingdom, and many others. Legal weight, they signed international treaties, like the Declaration by United Nations in 1942, and even passed laws from London that were considered legally binding for their citizens. 2. The Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, GPRA, 1958. During the War for Independence against France, the FLN formed a provisional government in exile, based in Cairo and Tunis. Military status. While they had guerrilla fighters in Algeria, they did not control the territory in a traditional state sense. France was the occupying power with full administrative control. Recognition. The GPRA was recognized by dozens of countries, including Arab and communist states, years before France finally agreed to Algerian independence in 1962. This recognition was a political tool to pressure France and validate the Algerian right to self-determination. 3. The Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, SADR, 1976. Present. The SADR claims sovereignty over Western Sahara, which is largely occupied by Morocco. Military status. The SADR, via the Polisario Front, controls only about 20% of the territory, mostly uninhabited desert. Their actual capital and most of their population are in refugee camps in Algeria. Recognition. Over 40 UN member states and the African Union recognize the SADR as the legitimate government of Western Sahara. In this case, recognition is based on the legal ruling by the ICJ that the people have a right to independence, regardless of Morocco's military presence. 4. Czechoslovakia, 1918. Before Czechoslovakia even existed as a country on a map, the Czechoslovak National Council was recognized by France, Italy and Great Britain as the official government. Military status. The territory was entirely part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The government consisted of diplomats in Paris and London. Reason for recognition. The Allies recognized them because they represented the political will of the Czech and Slovak people and provided troops, the Czechoslovak Legion, to fight on the Allied side. Why does this happen? The effective control doctrine. needing to hold the land, is often set aside in three specific scenarios. 1. Illegal occupation. If a country is invaded in violation of the UN Charter, the international community often refuses to recognize the invader and continues to recognize the exiled government. 2. Decolonization. If a people are fighting for independence from a colonial power, their provisional government is often recognized to give them a seat at the table in international forums. 3. Human rights. If a government is forced out by a coup or a regime that commits mass atrocities, other states may recognize the illegitimate exile group to isolate the regime in power. Would you like me to draft a summary of the specific legal arguments used in these cases to defend recognition without territorial control?
Are you listening? Everything that we are looking for, the garbage you want to talk, has already been laid down before you. It's just because of you don't have time and you cannot think what you can ask for them to give you an answer. So when you pick your phone, then you start wasting your data by writing garbage and proving how useless you are. Yes, so Jelewine, thank you so much. Christianity said, declare a word and it will come to fulfillment. Excellent. What happens when a people declare their nation? When it's come to this, our people's brain are no longer. It's only when they go to church they remember that they have to declare a word, and that word will come to pass, and that word will stand. I beg to lecture them on the comment section. Lecture the Okokos. We are thinking by now the how we shall go, because this area we read now put a word of handcuff on his hand. That is why it is very imperative for us to rethink and for us to ask some questions that will make us to believe what the government is doing. What our government is doing as a government in exile, they are doing their own 99% by the Congos Arabes and the government and cabinet members. They are doing very wonderful. If you check their movement, it's top-notch. So, for you that want to go and do woto, go and do by yourself. Don't attach her to your woto. The world knows her right now as peaceful leader who believe in all existing laws and all the existing protocol, and who believe in the template of the world to achieve recognition from the countries who want to give it to us. You don't understand it because your envy, your hatred, your stupidity, your senseless reasoning and your senseless brain cannot allow you to face reality. The truth is in the document, but what I think is in my mouth, and is far different from what the world wants us to do. Now that we are doing the right thing, now, after our redeclaration, is the first time we have started doing the right thing that the world was expecting in our hand since all these years of endless agitation of IPOB organization. The only thing IPOB knows is to protest, wear than red in their own. That is the country of their own. But when it comes to trigger the world to know who you are, none of them have the brain to articulate it and do it. So, when you are listening to things, you understand the real thing that we are doing this time around, that we are on the right track. It's no longer in the era of what, woto. It's no longer there at all. It's no longer. I will allow you to play. Listen. And listen very good. You can also record the voice. We may pause if we have something to say, because the English is very simple to understand.
In international law, there is no specific requirement in the UN Charter or the additional protocols of the Geneva Convention that a government in exile must use military force all over the territory to prove its effectiveness before gaining international recognition.
Oh, because he's doing nothing, he's doing nothing. Nothing happening in the homeland. You are a fool. We don't need anything to happen in the homeland. Where we need to happen is in the foreign countries that are given recognition. The topic of the international recognition is not coming from even Africa. That's why I will tell you, use Somaliland to learn a lesson very fast. The international recognition comes from abroad. That is why after Somaliland waited for 34 years, Israel will come right now, give them words. That's thing that they are lacking for. When you hear things happening, you don't think. Think and rethink. What happened to South Sudan and Sudan is not a lesson to you. The present happening of Somaliland that is in every news today, you are not learning something from there. You just read in the paper and walk away. Or you don't even know that something is happening. Freedom comes from diaspora. Freedom comes from abroad. They are the one who give you the official one. Official one. They are the one. In one of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, that were internally the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, he said, Biafra will come from diaspora. That I have tried from homeland, it did not work. And what is it? What does it mean? It's all the movements you are seeing today, that everything about our real declaration document is being held by our DPM who made this declaration. You. And you can, if you followed my short program in the morning, that for 5 minutes program, you will hear that the way he secured this document, that nobody will tamper it, that nobody will touch it. That he secured it in a level that nobody can touch this document. There's a part that says that Ogen Kere was prohibited to touch this document. That the law, where to register this document, this original one, they call it original official real declaration of United States of Biafra as a country, that she has registered it, that nobody can tamper it. Did you hear that such a story? Go and check that 40 minutes program I did in the morning. Then you will listen for some. Then you who is following a slave will turn back. You IPOB, where Biafra has been fully re-declared, that we are only seeking for recognition, and we want to achieve it like France did, Poland, Netherlands, Belgium, Namibia, Algeria, Congo, Mozambique. These are those who have achieved what we are looking for today.
In fact, international law and modern state practice often favor peaceful self-determination and political legitimacy over raw military conquest.
Naham again accept. Peaceful one is the one that the world accepted. However, go listen to this. Stop being stupid in front of truth. Because despite that people say that the truth will come at last, and that when the truth prevails, had I know will fool your mouth. I am doing this for you to avoid had I know in the future. Go to Somaliland today. Those who stand against them today, they flee away. They run away. Run back to Somaliland and take refuge there. Run back to Somalia That is what happens in Somaliland right now. Go and check this. What I'm just saying right now is what is happening. What's going on there? The enemies, like you in the comment section, now that Israel have given them what they are waiting for, the enemies in the house, they have run back to where? To Somalia. The same way the enemy of America run to Canada and England. Where are you going to run to? Makanao Game. Hello, good evening from here. My senior comrade, Mark, good evening from here. Good evening, sir. You're welcome to the platform. Thank you so much for being here.
1. The legal framework, statehood versus recognition.
As we are playing, please, if you want to call us, you are free to call on number +9 7 33 60 51 337. Because this program will not go more than 2 hours. So if you want to call us, you are free to call. I call the number again. +9 7 33 60 51 337. Only on WhatsApp.
To understand this, we have to distinguish between the criteria for statehood and the act of recognition. Montevideo Convention, 1933. This is the standard for what makes a state. It requires 1. A permanent population, 2. A defined territory, 3. A government, and 4. The capacity to enter into relations with other states. Effective control. Traditionally, a government had to exercise effective control, police power, tax collection, law enforcement, to be recognized. However,
today, USB has been doing, I am paying my tax under my state. Our police people are paying tax. I am also paying every month. I pay my tax. What of you? Are you paying your tax in your state? If you're not doing, please ask for that. All these things that we mentioned here, the government has put it in order. The government of the United States of Biafra has put all these things in order. Listen to what makes you a sovereign state, not military. And you hear names of those that they said they did not have 10% of military self before the recognition and become a sovereign state.
For a newly independent country or a government in exile, this rule is often relaxed. 2. The role of the UN Charter and Geneva Protocols. UN Charter. The Charter focuses on self-determination, Articles 1 and 55, and the prohibition of the use of force, Article 2.
Prohibition.
It does not require a nascent state to win a war to be recognized. Instead, it encourages the peaceful settlement of disputes. Geneva Convention, Additional Protocols, 1977.
Ask yourself, why is it in this 21st era that Additional Protocol of 1977 is appearing? Have you asked that such a question? Because there is a time for everything. There is a time for everything. This time has come in our own time. We are going to set another new record of those who achieve in this 21st century, those who achieve their country through peaceful movement. No war, no armed struggle, just normal way, peacefully. The history must carry us as it has already been carrying what we are doing already. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you write. It doesn't matter how you sabotage the government. No. Because I will now refer you to the people of Finland, the red and the white. The red was against the declaration of Finland as a country, like you in my comment section. The question is, after that, all this red, who is against that declaration of Finland as a country? Finland, is it a country? If it is a country, under which people that Finland was being recognized by Germany and the Soviet Union? It is under the white, who has this original document of declaration of Finland as a country, 1917. Go and check history. Stop fooling yourself. Stop proving to the world I am a saboteur, I am a betrayer. Stop proving to the world that you are a rebel, that you are a toy, that you are puppet. Stop.
Asterisk Protocol deals with international armed conflicts and specifically mentions peoples fighting against colonial domination and alien occupation in the exercise of their right of self-determination. Protocol 2 applies to non-international armed conflicts, civil wars.
Protocol 2 apply non-armed struggle anymore. Non-armed military struggle. They don't, in this 21st century, it has been banned. It has been prohibited. They want what? Non-violence after your declaration or before that.
Neither protocol sets military control as a prerequisite for legal recognition as a state. They focus on how to treat people humanely during the conflict, regardless of who is winning. 3. Can an exile government be recognized without military control? Yes. International recognition is a political act by other states. There are two main ways this happens. Type of recognition.
Remark this question and listen to the type of recognition, how it happens. Can an exile government be organized without military control? You who wants to see woto. You who only when you will believe that something going on is when you see bo. The world has said no to that. That if you bring that violence, that they will join the president and mash you down because they don't want violence anymore. We have looked for Biafra through violence. We did not achieve it through time of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. That is why after official declaration, sending notice to the world that a new country has emerged, we lie low for us to move to achieve it under the international laws. All the protocol, all the what? Amended protocol that has on our face. That is what will give us this new country recognition we are seeking for, not by military.
Description. Declaratory theory. Recognition just declares what is already true. If you have the territory and people, you are a state regardless of what others say.
Remark this word. Recognition just declares what is already true. Are you hearing it? Now, this recognition we are looking for is to prove that our declaration makes us automatically a sovereign state. He continues, he further says, you are a state regardless of what others are saying, regardless of what you are commenting on the comment section. USB has become a state. Go and hug transformer. It's not good for you. If you don't believe on that, you will run away like people of Somaliland. Type those of Somaliland that never want Somaliland as a country. What is happening to them now that Israel has recognized Somaliland as a sovereign state under international law? Go and check. Right now. Oh, this one of 26th of December, the one of 26th of December 2025, yesterday, the people that stand against them, from people from the territory of Somaliland that was against their movement to have their own country, they have all run into exile, into refugee camp in Somalia. And that is what you wish yourself. Nto for you. Because nigga buy one boss. Also game now. Also name na Somalia. People of Somaliland now boys in Somalia go and take refuge. People of America, people from California, people from New York and Georgia, they all run to Canada and London and UK. When Morocco and France give them recognition, the citizens of America, even to the extent that a father and son, a son run away because his father believed in the Declaration of America, 1776, July the 4th. When this recognition from Morocco and France landed, those who refused, those who voted against the Declaration of America, that America will not be a country, even a bishop run away. The bishop of Anglican said, no, I don't want America to be a country. I want to remain under Great Britain. Let the king be ruling me. A whole bishop. Today, you see Bishop Onaga lying and making mockery of himself. That time, Bishop run away. Igbo Sabo. Oh yes, Haga Boye Sokoto. Medigri. Yes. And by that time, you will not see a way to get Somalia passport. Because now Somalia know that Nigeria is a country of particular concern. They will not open their border for you. Ndị na-agụkwa egwu na-agụsị chegharịba mgbe oge dịrị gị n'ihi nzọpụta adịkwa ebe ị ga-agbaje. Chegharịba mgbe oge dịrị gị, chegharịkwa mgbe oge dịrị gị n'ihi na nzọpụta adịghị na Sokoto ebe ị ga-agbaje. Nwa nke mmadụ, we are giving you this truth that is very bitter, and you refuse to understand it. Yes, every word from our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must come to pass. This is my message to all of you this evening. Chegharịkwa kịta oge dịrị gị. Werekwa Somaliland merekwa example. Werekwa phone gị ka nna gwakwa gị. Type kwa na ya Google ka onye kwa gị some the way Google si ekonja their own. Gwakwa gị na ọsọ na-eme na Somaliland ka ọ dịkwa ugbu a. The enemies are secretly moving out, running away from their own country. O mekwa na America. Jukwa Namibia, o mekwa na Namibia. O mekwa na Congo. O mekwa na Angola. O kwa na Africa. Na kuma kwa ndị far. You are our own Africa. Pụtabakwa na ụzọ adịkwa ebe ị na-eje. Ịbụrụkwa nwa afọ, anụkwa nge n'okwu Igbo. Come back from being a saboteur. Repent. You have only this time to repent. Lekwala ụgbọ ndị ọma na-aga, banyekwa n'ime ya. Lekwa na ụgbọ ndị ọma na-aga, banyekwa n'ime ya. Ị na-anụkwu ya n'okwu oyibo here. Na-enidikwa ije kontroluo ure military force wee bịa tibe kpata mkpa gbajibe ndị mmadụ aka ọbara wufusibe before ebure country na bụ ọkwa military mere ka ebure country na ihe mebere gị sovereignty bụ ụmụ mmadụ ọnụọgụgụ n'ọkwa ọnụọgụgụ ụmụ mmadụ. YouTube attack n'ọkwa ọnụọgụgụ population, ọnụọgụgụ ndị mmadụ bụkwa na ịbụ a sovereignty, yakwa na ịbụ country. Ọkwa ka eji wee gwara nke mbụ sị ya na dịka anyị nọkwa na-eche recognition, mgbe Somaliland nọ na-echi ya, ha nwekwara ndị bi na befa, ha nwekwara population of ndị mmadụ. over 1.6 ka a na-ekwukwa okwu ya ma afọzikwa over 80 million. Ntị gị ọ dịkwa ntị ọ dịkwa. I am telling you for free. You are not paying me money to come and sit here after coming back from my work to spend 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours with you, to after that doing all this research and bringing it to you so you can compare and contrast. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Good evening from here. This truth must be told. I want you to understand it clearly. They did not see me and write this document. They did not see you and write it. But today is happening. The thing we are passing through. People has passed through that in the past. Listen.
Constitutive theory. You only become a state when other countries agree to treat you as one. Important exceptions. Legitimacy over force. In modern times, if a government is seen as the legitimate representative of a people, e.g., following a democratic election or a recognized independence movement, other countries may recognize it even if it has zero military control on the ground.
Even if you have zero military control on the ground, that it does not stop you being a sovereignty. It does not stop America recognized again or Guinea-Bissau to recognize the Biafran people. It does not stop it too. I hope you hear it clearly. Once you are flowing due process, what are those due process? They said here that conducting election through democracy way. No, so if other says other countries recognizes it even if it has 0% military, 0% military control on the zero control military control on the ground. For you natural woto ki work on Biafra bule sovereignty. Listen you.
Example, during World War II, many governments in exile like Poland or France were recognized by the Allies despite their entire territory being occupied by the Axis powers. 4.
Do you hear the almighty France today? Now their own time, France made their declaration with government in exile. I could hear say that they did not control even 1% of their territory. But there was being recognized. If you doubt it tomorrow, I will bring country that recognize France first. If you are doubting this, I will bring to you tomorrow countries that recognize France. Are you doubting? Do you want it? France did not fall from heaven to become a country that we are seeing today. The France you are so-called president in Nigeria is given to control you, your economy. Are you listening? Do you know that now I know why Tinubu run to Kenya? He went to go and copy and learn how Kenya people increase tax to their people and how their people, once you send money, how many percent will be deducted, because Kenya was the first Africa who introduced such law of this 21st century that leads to the Gen Z protests in Kenya. But when you go down deep, you understand. Do you hear it here? Now France enwekwa zero control of force military. Mazi, I am on live program. Good evening.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we'll talk later, please. It is very important. It is very important. Because you must learn in a hard way. I said what? Our people learn how to learn in a hard way. Let us read this document very fast.
Ineffective government myth. You asked if they must prove the existing government is ineffective by using military force. Actually, using military force can sometimes hinder recognition if it is seen as an illegal aggression.
Regardless of we and the way we are fighting from, that using military may hinder, because it depends on those we are fighting against to exit from. That using military may hinder it, and you can see only Mazin Nnamdi Kanu 4 years sen. What happened? Only Obato Obie, Simon Ekpa introducing Biafra military. You can see what it costs. So the of way after our declaration, we now go deep. It may hinder everything, and their word we allow them to wipe us away. One area think change can
Or if it causes humanitarian catastrophes. Instead of military proof, the international community usually looks for 1. Broad domestic support. The people want this government. 2. Stability. The new country won't immediately collapse into chaos. 3. Willingness to follow international law, respecting treaties and human rights.
That is what the government of the US has achieved. This place we are right now is the most sweetest place. Wait, no, this call, not now. Are you hearing it? Willingness to follow international law, respect treaties, and the human rights. That is what our government is doing right now. Respect what? Human rights. Respect what? Human rights. Azubike, good evening from here. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Senior man, I salute you. Respect you. Thank you so much for coming across our small page where we are trying to let our people know the truth. You know that when you find the truth, there is few people there. That's what we do here. And this is only what we can do to let our people know the truth. Because this truth must be told. The government of the USB on this particular aspect of what? Willingness to follow international law. That is why you are not seeing woto. That is why you know something is happening. Because when they are maintaining this international law, you will think that nothing is happening. But on this maintaining of this word listing, willingness to follow international law, respect treaties and human rights, this is the highest of them all. This is what? Highest of what? Them all. And that is the area your government is pushing very high on it. Let's continue.
Summary. An exile government does not need to prove its power through military conquest. While effective control makes statehood easier to claim, international recognition is ultimately a diplomatic decision based on legitimacy, human rights, and the principle of self-determination. Historical practice shows that recognition is often based on political legitimacy and the principle of self-determination rather than military control. Many governments have been recognized while having little to no boots on the ground.
Many governments have been recognized with little to no boots on the ground. With little to no single military boot on the ground, they become a country. And in a choice, make it in a no anymore longer. Nga broke fagi, Japan no way. Go and stay there. Go there and stay. recognition is often based on the political legitimacy and the principle of self-determination rather than military control. High military control abroad sovereignty in this 21st century is bash. That one is no longer in existence. That stage, that era has gone and passed. Many countries have been organized while having little to no boots on the ground. Listen to those happens to them. Let me know whether you are bigger than these countries. They're going to hear the name today. Why these are the countries now we are looking for them to organize us as a country, whether old or present. Listen.
Here are several key examples that illustrate this. 1. World War II. The London governments, 1940 to 1945. During World War II, the governments of Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium and Poland fled to London after being completely overrun by Nazi Germany.
Do you hear it? When Chukwuemeka feel like he cannot, he ran to Ivory Coast. Despite coming back, refused to continue. Despite being in exile, then refused to continue. Look at it here. The government of Norway run into London, this criminal London today, this evil London. The Netherlands in exile, they did not control 1%. Belgium, Poland, they flew to London after being completely overrun by Nazi Germany through Germany. Germany was one that are the colonial master that colonized them. Are you hearing it here? That's what happened. That this government of Norway, Netherlands, Belgium, and Poland, they run away from their territory. What happened? Are they not going to today? Ask yourself and answer yourself. Type it on your phone from Google. If Netherlands use Exile government without military to restore their sovereignty, type. You will find an answer.
Military status. They had zero control over their home territories.
Is this clear to you? We are not here to do saga. Military status. They had zero control over their home territory. Zero control. Even on the point of what our government has done by conducting election, having governors tomorrow, I'm going to give you the problem of tomorrow is what is the work of a government in exile after declaration? What are they supposed to do in the homeland to prove effective government and also prove that they are sovereignty? Hold it tomorrow, I will give it to you back to back with the point, fact and figure. You will hear it tomorrow. Come with your clean mind. Forget his Ngozi Arabeze, Ngozi this. If they call Ngozi Arabeze, go to archive, go to Washington DC, go to America, go to the Department of Justice of America, type for Ngozi Arabeze there. Kagwa onyo no bro terrorist. No bro Ngozi Arabeze. No bro Hamatu or what Alematu Abubakar. It's not there. The world knows her. Have you asked of the network of Ngozi Arabeze? Ta agbafuo gị nwa mba nsị na-akụ inyo ịma na onye amahake mmanya na-egbu ya nwanzara ju afọ cherechi ya ka mgba. Go and check now if there is a place in her history of this declaration, if no one ever there Ngozi Arabeze Fulani, Ngozi Arabeze terrorist. Mug.
Recognition. Despite this, they remained the de jure, legal, recognized governments by the United States, United Kingdom, and many others. Legal weight. They signed into
America recognized the United Nations recognized the evil United Kingdom recognized her also, because all kind of Africa have budget. Manankai behind the Kapuna omume Amadu Hamabula Hanchani, one after the other.
International treaties, like the Declaration by United Nations in 1942, and even passed laws from London that were considered legally binding for their citizens. 2. The Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, GPRA, 1958. During the War for Independence against France, the FLN formed a provisional government in exile, based in Cairo and Tunis.
And here in Algeria, in Africa, they use a name because France was the one who colonized them. When they were fighting against France, Ebeka Fano, Fajre na Cairo, Egypt. They went to Egypt. That is where the government was in exile. That is where they are until they get recognition and take over their territory from France. Mokoko, you will not learn.
Military status. While they had guerrilla fighters in Algeria, they did not control the territory in a traditional state sense. France was the occupying power with full administrative control. Recognition. The GPRA was recognized by dozens of countries, including Arab and communist states, years before France finally agreed to Algerian independence in 1962. This recognition was a political tool to pressure France and validate the Algerian right to self-determination. 3. The Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, SADR, 1976. Present. The SADR claims sovereignty over Western Sahara, which is largely occupied by Morocco. Military status. The SADR, via the Polisario Front, controls only about 20% of the territory, mostly uninhabited desert.
Because they are in their homeland, fighting against Morocco. Like what Ojukwu did, 1967 to 1970. When Ojukwu lost it, and Ojukwu said that Biafra will come from diaspora because he knows. That is what Exile government.
Their actual capital and most of their population are in refugee camps in Algeria. Recognition. Over 40 UN member states and the African Union recognize the SADR as the legitimate government of Western Sahara. In this case, recognition is based on the legal ruling by the ICJ that the people have a right to independence, regardless of Morocco's military presence. 4. Czechoslovakia, 1918. Before Czechoslovakia...
Remember, they give you what happened in Africa. Now they have moved from Africa. Now they are telling you they have left Africa to Europe or to Asia to prove to you. Czechoslovakia, 1918. SADR, Sahara, you know about them. They all fought and got recognition. They only the one they said they control 20%. When Ojukwu was fighting, Ojukwu even controlled 100%. Later, he lost everything to 0%. That is why he flew away.
Slovakia even existed as a country on a map. The Czechoslovak National Council was recognized by France, Italy, and Great Britain as the official government. Military status. The territory was entirely part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The government consisted of diplomats in Paris and London. Reason for recognition.
Do you see this London that denied us Biafra? London denied us Biafra 1970 to 1970. London. But look at those they have covered. Count how many countries here that their people run into them and go into exile to know the declaration of their country and their country. They denied us. Very devilish people because of oil. Nothing more than that. Pankanel. That is only why they denied Biafra.
The Allies recognized them because they represented the political will of the Czech and Slovak people and provided troops, the Czechoslovak Legion, to fight on the Allied side. Why does this happen? The effective control doctrine, needing to hold the land, is often set aside in 3 specific scenarios. 1. Illegal occupation. If a country is invaded in violation of the UN Charter, the international community often refuses to recognize the invader and continues to recognize the exiled government. 2. Decolonization. If a people are fighting for independence from a colonial power, their provisional government is often recognized to give them a seat at the table in international forums. 3. Human rights. If a government is forced out by a coup or a regime that commits mass atrocities, other states may recognize the legitimate exile group to isolate the regime in power.
Thank you. I hope you have listened clearly this evening. Forget Nobody in this 21st century want to see you marching, doing what before they recognize you. You are what? A violence country, a violence non-state actor. Nobody will use because of new military or makana. You are shooting woto before they were grant recognition. It never happened anywhere. That is my message to you this evening. Please, because of my time, we're going to draw the curtain here. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome you all. May Elohim continue, protect you, bless you, guide you, and as you continue to keep on this path, remember, I have given you the achievement of this government. They need money. I want to tell you one thing. Pharmacist Diane, they are using their money to fight for Biafra. You won't know until you go deep down. There is a lot of registration that carries over millions of dollars. How much are you contributing? Come on Saturday with Big Eje and Ejemma to support US government. All the cabinet members, they are contributing secretly in the movement without wasting time. I urge you, as I may play that movement of the achievement a day to the fundraising, so it will urge you to come and do more. I am not a member of the government, but my research gives me things I say and things I do, and that's what I believe on. So from me, from here, have a wonderful night. I love you, my people. Peace out.